Are we ready or are we waiting until 10?
Nope, go ahead.
All right. Welcome to SWACUHO Technology. Next slide. Just a few notes. This will be quick and to the point. You know, technology is very involved and things like that. But if I don't address something, it's because I don't have time. If you do know Google Drive, please just be patient. I'm focusing on a lot of the basics here. So if you use it every day, you're going to be like, okay, this is boring. But I'm trying to help out those that don't necessarily interact with it every day. So if at any point you have questions, feel free to interrupt me and just ask. You won't offend me. And if you still need help after this, I'm going to say this a few times throughout the presentation. I am here to help via email, text message, whatever it may be, phone call. I'm here to help you. So do not hesitate to ask me questions. All right, next. We're going to talk a little bit first about, well, my phone's ringing, about Gmail. Yep. If you do not have your username and password, I have those. I can get them to you. Please contact me offline and I will get that to you. Most of you should have it. When you are logging in, please make sure your recovery email is swacuho@gmail.com. That way, when new people are logging in and they have to get a code, that'll go to the secretary, to the main Gmail account. If you need to update the associated phone number, you can put mine. Mine's right there, and I can get the codes. When I roll off or leave the board or whatever, we can update those. But for now, we'll use that. If at any point you change your password, please let me know. If you don't feel comfortable emailing that, text me, call me, however you want to reach me.
Ricky, sorry, it's Maggie.
Yeah.
Several of the Gmails were set up whenever I was secretary. So if you get a thing saying that you should get a code and the last 4 digits of the phone number is 8350, that's going to come to me. I will share my cell phone number with all of you after this. You are welcome to text me to ask me the code because I still will occasionally just get random codes that pop up in my text, and I don't know if it's a SWACUHO thing or one of my kids. So if you're ever searching for a code, I may have it for you.
One other trick too. There is another way you can verify, and one of those ways to verify is knowing Maggie's phone number, and then you won't have to do the code. So that's also a big time saver.
Awesome. And that is in the chat. All right, next. Just some general expectations from the board, from leadership. Check your committee's Gmail. Try to do that at least twice a week, once toward the beginning of the week and once toward the end. You can put that on your phone if you want to. If you're not that type of person, just go in, log in on Monday, Friday, whatever it may be, when you have an opportunity, just for a couple minutes, and check those emails. You're probably not going to get too many, but if you need to reply to them, do that. Forward to the appropriate people. I forward a lot of emails from the contact us form and things like that. So be expecting those. When somebody signs up for your committee, I do that. I forward it to you. So just try to respond in a timely manner. We encourage you to create a professional looking email signature. There's a couple examples right there. The one I use and the one that was used last year by the communications committee, which is still pretty similar. And some of the others have some as well. So just try to create a good looking email signature so that we look professional. We don't have a consistent one that everybody uses. We might do that in the future. I don't know. But for now, just make it look good. All right, next. All right, let's go fishing. Who on here, who wants to say who's got an email in the past few years from the current president at the time? It's already happening this year from Drew. Yep. This is an example one that mid-level received around actually at conference. We were at conference. It was on Monday at 10:07 a.m. and this was. They didn't put her first name. They just put Leanna's last name. But this is just an example of something. Phishing is the fraudulent practice of sending emails or other messages in order to induce individuals to reveal personal information such as passwords and credit card numbers, or in many cases, they'll try to get you to send gift card codes, things like that. Just be very, very hesitant. The president's not going to ask you to do something like that. As you can see here, this was when Don was still president. It came from a random president T9196 at gmail.com. That's not our email. It might look close to it, but it's not it. Please report these, and I'm not saying report them to me. You can tag them as phishing/spam. So please report those. You don't have to send them to me every time because that'd get a little bit out of hand. But just report those as spam and phishing. That way Gmail can look at it and hopefully block it. They will likely be coming from Drew Jar this year. Craig Seeger got one, I think, yesterday from Drew. So don't fall for them. If you're not sure, like I said, check that email, such as in the example, because it's not going to come from the actual president account. All right, next. Common emails you receive are committee signups. That'll be forwarded from me. Contact us forms. When somebody fills the contact us form out and they need something from your committee, often it's for the corporate partnerships committee, but sometimes they come for other committees. I'll send that to you. Questions about your committee, information from the SWACUHO president, try to reply to that in a timely manner. And then requests from the communications committee, and Jen and Ansley will talk about that later. All right, next is Google Groups. All right, how to access Google Groups. Again, I'm going fast, so stop me if I need to stop. Visit swacuho.org, go to Communications tab and click Google Groups, or on the main page, as you can see in the picture there, click Google Groups. Next, a list of the groups. We have SWACUHO Nation. That's relevant to the entire region. We have one for each state. If you want to send stuff just to the states, and I'm going to go over numbers on that in a minute. We need to work on really getting those numbers up. Mid-level, there's a mid-level one, a very active senior housing officers one with over 100 members that's very, very active with information going to and from. And then one that we don't use too much, but we probably should more. If you just want to email all of SWACUHO leadership, that's the exec board and committee Gmails. You can email that email address right there, and it'll go to everybody's Gmails. That way you don't have to type them in separately. But it's up to you. Next, in order to use a Google group, your Gmail, whether it's your custom email, your personal email that you're sending from, or your committee's email, has to be a member of that group. If you need help with that, let me know. You can set up the account to not receive all the emails from that group if you want. That way you're not getting flooded with them. But say your committee needs to communicate with the SHOs or mid-level, sign up for that group and then just change the email specifications to no email or digest or something like that. That way you're not receiving them all, but you can still send to that group. Okay. Next, current Google group member numbers, you can read them. The SWACUHO Nation has gone up significantly since conference. We were at about just over 200 then, so we've gone up quite a bit. SHO has gone up too, but like I said, that's really active. You can see mid-level has 63, and the states are a little bit lower, and they're not used quite as much. So state directors, if you're here, I would say try to get more people on that and utilize those. Yeah. Next. Some of the uses for Google Groups is to keep the region updated on happenings of your committee, recruit for new members. Really just overall promote the use of the Google Groups. Like I said, SHO is the most used publicly. Just because SWACUHO Nation doesn't seem like it's active when somebody sends out an email doesn't mean it's not. I often send out emails asking for advice and things like that, and I get a lot of personal emails back. So they're not hitting reply all, but they're replying back to me. So it might not look active. It might look like everyone's ignoring your message from the outside, but in all reality, people are replying. So before I move on to the next, is there any questions about Google Groups? All righty, let's go on to Google Drive. This is going to be very quick and dirty. How to access Google Drive. Log into google.com using your committee's information. You're going to go to the waffle, as they call it, up in the top right corner. And then you're going to click Drive. All right, some parts of Drive. Google Docs is basic word processing, and I'm going to link this back to Microsoft a lot because I use Microsoft quite a bit. This is just like Microsoft Word. That's all it is. Some SWACUHO uses are policy documents, committee meeting agendas, and minutes, which is great for transitions to be able to go back and look at that information after. All right. Google Sheets is data entry. It's just like Microsoft Excel. It also, you can collect, if you create a form, a Google form, you can collect data from that into that Google sheet. So some SWACUHO uses are committee membership information, so contact information, work assignments, things like that. Yep. Next, Google Forms, basic form service. You can do surveys, questionnaires, etc. Some SWACUHO uses, committee interest forms, newsletter, not newsletter, communications, uses it quite a bit for blog submissions, newsletter submissions, things like that they'll talk about later. Google Slides, it's just like PowerPoint. You can use this. We use this for conference slideshows, things like that. Presentations to the exec board. Anytime you're wanting to share information out with the region, you can create a Google slide presentation. That's the gist of that. How to create on Google Drive. Get familiar with the new button. Used to create a new item, so a doc, sheet, slide, form, etc. You click the new button and click what you want to create. How to share on Google Drive. In whatever file type you're working on, in the top right corner, you can click the share button, that little blue button right there. You can share with other Google accounts. So if you have committee members you want to share that with, you can share that with their email addresses. You can limit their access. You can make them an editor. You can make them just a commenter or a viewer, or you can protect that sheet completely. So if they don't have share access, they can't view it at all. This is big when for your committee members, for sharing with the president account or the SWACUHO account, whatever it may be. Overall, Google Drive, try to keep all of your important documents on your account's drive. This makes transitions much smoother. If something overlaps with more than one committee or position, share it with that account as well. That way everyone has access to it. If you're collaborating with another committee or specific people, like I said, share that with their email addresses. So why use Google Drive? Keep information on the cloud. You can access this stuff from anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It's not like keeping it on your computer and then your computer crashes and it disappears. This stuff lives forever up in the sky. Work together at the same time. You don't have to share. You don't have to save a file, email it. They edit it, save it, send it back to you, and this ongoing process goes on forever. And then files get lost and everything like that. You can literally work on it at the same time. If you're not familiar with Google Drive, there are plenty of great tutorials, and I can share this presentation with everybody after, so you can click this link. But the great tutorial videos on specifics, so if you're wanting to learn more about sheets, forms, docs, slides, you can look at tutorials over that. But this video I linked right here is just Google Drive in general to try to get to know it. All right, excuse me. SWACUHO website. Yes, people visit it, and we do monitor the traffic. We had a great month last month, over 1,000 visitors. Obviously, that was conference time and things like that, so it's typically the busiest month. You can see the last year of data at the bottom of this screen. You can see it was a little slow throughout the summer. It picks up heavily around mid-year time and breakout conference season. Dies down a little bit, but then it gets really, really busy. And these are daily visitors. So you see it's typically busy during the week. Nobody visits on the weekend. Some things we can monitor. If you ever want to know something, just ask me and I can say, are people visiting the blog? Are people visiting a committee page? Anything you want to know if they're going to it, just ask me so we can track page visits, new versus returning visitors, the time of day they visit, where they're visiting from, their state, their country, all that. Operating system use, so many things. It's endless. So if you ever want to know anything about what's being visited on the website, just ask. Some of the uses, you can advertise your initiatives. You can work with a communications committee to post blogs. It's not used heavily, but there are a few postings on there right now in the Career Center. We want to try to use that a bit more, placement committee, wink, wink. Event registration is big. That's where obviously we go to register for events. Corporate partnerships uses it for exhibitors. We make payments and stuff through that. We have forms on there. If you don't want to use a Google form and you want it to live on the website, we can create a form there. We link to the Flickr on there, and that gets a lot of traffic. And then obviously the podcast gets traffic on there as well. Where am I at? How to get help. And next. Wow, I got through that really quick. If you are lost, if you need help, if you have questions at all, please save my number in your phone. If you text, I'm a texter. You can call me, but I'm probably not going to answer right away because I don't know who you are. Text me, say, hey, this is Katie Campbell. I need something. Can you give me a call? And I'll be like, okay, let's do that. We can set up a call. We can do a Zoom where we can screen share. That's the best way to reach me. Another good way is the SWACUHO Tech Gmail. I do have that on my phone. I check that daily. So if you need absolutely anything at all, and again, I can't stress this enough, reach out. Don't try to do it on your own, especially on the website or something like that. It's very clunky at times. So reach out, say, Ricky, can it do this? And I'm going to either say, yes, it can do it, no, it can't, or I don't know, I'm going to find out for you. And I did start a little bit early, but so next slide. Don't be afraid of technology, embrace it. Yes, Drew. Technology is the future. It's the current and the future. So I don't know everything. I can find answers for you, but we're in this together. So last slide is just my contact information again. My cell phone number is on there, my office phone number if you want to call me during the day, like it was just ringing a second ago. So now we have a few minutes for any questions you may have. I see a hand up, a couple hands up. So I see Felicia first.
All right. So obviously, first of all, I will really reinforce that Ricky will definitely respond to you. Norma and I had like an SOS on the Friday before SWACUHO trying to get into the back end of the SWACUHO, and he was driving, but we were on Zoom together while we were talking to Ricky on speaker. So he will do that even when he'll say, I'm driving, so I can't do much, but tell me what the issue is and we'll fix it. So anyhow, but my question really is, and I know I've talked about this, but for those of us who use the back end of the website for registrations and, workshops and that, are we going to get a boot camp or a time to spend with one another to kind of a learning opportunity for people? Because I know we all use it in different ways, but I think that that's probably one thing we need to probably do to help better train each other on that.
Yeah.
Because I try and, I do stuff and I'm like, I hope I'm not breaking it today, but so anyhow, we're messing stuff up, but yeah, so I think that would be a real beneficial kind of boot camp kind of thing for those of us who are doing the back end.
Sure, absolutely. Let's plan something. Let's plan a Zoom hour. Corporate partnerships I'll invite. New communications I'll invite. Anybody else think they need to be included on the boot camp? I can invite everyone, but anyone specifically that way? Victoria, okay, SHO. I'll invite everyone, but if you have specifics that you want me to go over, I'd ask you to just shoot me an email. That way I can kind of get an agenda going, and then I'll send out a doodle for the next few weeks, and let's get that taken care of. Anybody else need to be on that? Speak up. All right, Felicia, did you have anything else?
Probably our state directors.
State directors, yes, for sure.
Yeah, I think that the thing is for like corporate partnerships, we're probably in it more than a lot of, and probably hosts are probably in it more than a lot of other people are. But even then, we're doing stuff more, heavy one time a year, and it's just trying to remember some of that. So
right,
that's my thing.
And I think after we do this back in boot camp, as I'll call it, we can I'll know specifically kind of what you're using it for, better my knowledge of it, and I can do those step-by-step guides or screen captures that Beth has helped out with in the past. I'm not sure if everybody's seen those, so maybe Beth, if you're willing, we can just share those with everybody because they're really good to work with when you're working with registrations and things. She did some step-by-step things on that, so I don't want to recreate the wheel when she put in that hard work for it. Victoria.
That was a great idea, Felicia. I appreciate that idea. Ricky, I am assuming that if we have information that we need to put on the website or updates to website, that goes through you as well?
Yes.
Okay. And I know the answer to this already. How fast is the turnaround time on that?
Depends on the day. Drew emailed me this morning. I think I had it done within 60 seconds. Some
That's
days, obviously, you're going to be busier, so it might take me a couple days, but pretty quickly.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Humble brag. I just happened to be preparing for committee camp earlier when he sent that email and already had the back end open, so that's the only reason that happened so quickly. Any other questions? We got a couple more minutes. I know that was quick and dirty. I will share it with all of the committee Gmails, so you can go back and reference it if you need to. And if there's anything I didn't go over that you think I should add for future years, please let me know that too. There's no other discussion. Drew, back to you.
Very good. Well, thank you, Ricky. Good job. Okay, Maggie.
Hi.
Hello.
Like others, I'm going to attempt to share my screen here. You are also welcome to follow along on your own screen. I do not have a presentation. What I'm going to be sharing is our strategic plan, which can be found on the website under About and then Important Documents. So if you want to pull that up, you can. I will share it on the screen. And then yesterday, kind of right at the end of the day, you should have all received from me the worksheet that we're going to be using. Drew had included that in our packets at the leadership lunch, but I turned it into a fillable form for those who prefer to work, with your keyboards. So you should have gotten that yesterday. If not, if someone who did get it can share while I'm talking, that might be helpful for people. Let me see here. Oh, which screen? This. Oh, here we go. Okay. I'm a Zoomer, y'all, not a Teamser. So the struggles are real. Okay. So Drew had asked me to talk a little bit about the strategic plan and to sort of lead the group through some goal setting with the strategic plan in mind. If you were on last year's committee camp, we are going to basically do exactly what we did last year. Nothing really has changed with the strategic plan. So sorry if it's a repeat, but we will have a little bit of working time in this as well as listed on your agenda. But just to give a little background on the strategic plan. So way back in 2019, which seems like a really long time ago at this point, right? We've all survived COVID and other things since then. But we started the process of creating a strategic plan. And through that, we got a lot of input from members. We got a lot of input from committee chairs. We sort of bumped our thoughts up against the SWACUHO competencies to make sure we were sort of aligning with that. We had some feedback sessions, and then 3 different iterations of the exec board really ended up participating in the creation and finalization of the strategic plan. So that's kind of how we got it to where it is right now. So point of all that is to say, I do not own the strategic plan. I'm just the current mouthpiece and person who is tasked with keeping it a living, breathing thing and not just a document that lives on our website. So please know that. We kind of came up with a vision and a mission, and you can see them there hopefully on the screen. Our vision is to create a community where engagement and developmental opportunities support the professional growth of SWACUHO stakeholders in support of residential student success. And then in that, our mission is to support a diverse, inclusive, and successful membership by providing opportunities to connect, engage, and grow in the housing profession. And so we developed 4 focus areas that we are really looking at doing this through. And so you'll see Drew has done an excellent job of kind of grounding his, vision for his presidency in our strategic plan. So the first focus area is development. And we define that as providing opportunities and resources that advance education and research to support the development and success of members. So really just doing what we can to provide professional development to our memberships. Connection, which we defined as facilitating interactions and partnerships that increase engagement, professional growth, relationships, and a sense of belonging. So this is kind of that networking piece. I think one of the things that is really special about SWACUHO is that we are very small, kind of familial organization. And so this connection piece is really one that we wanted to continue to kind of focus on and grow in our organization. Our third focus area is equity, access, and inclusion, which Drew talked about in his introduction. But through this, we are hoping to recruit a diverse membership while establishing a welcoming, inclusive, and supportive community where members' identities are supported to engage and flourish authentically. And then the last one is pathways, which we defined as allocating time, resources, and opportunities that support member engagement and meaningful professional experiences and recognizing their contributions to the profession. So when we say pathways, we really mean sort of an extension of that development piece by which we are financially supporting our membership to engage in opportunities outside of SWACUHO. So we do that through some of the scholarships that we offer, and then also recognizing them really primarily through our awards and recognition process for their contributions to the profession. And then I think Pathways also is kind of inclusive of this idea of sort of growing our leadership from within. So the concept of co-chairs and really for those of you who are committee chairs, looking within your committees to sort of identify who your successor is going to be and kind of equipping them with the knowledge and skills they need to move through the organization's leadership. That sort of also is encompassed in the pathways piece of that. We have some goals and some outcomes related to each of these focus areas that we'll sort of talk about a little bit whenever we start planning and setting goals. But our intent and our hope is really that each one of you will see the work that your committee does or the work that you do as an executive board member reflected in this strategic plan. Hopefully in several areas of the strategic plan. And so really, I think the purpose of what we are wanting to do today is as you start thinking about what your year as a chair is going to look like, what your committee is going to accomplish over the coming year, we want that to really be driven by meeting some of these goals and outcomes that are listed in the strategic plan, if that makes sense to everyone. So I am going to attempt to switch over to the worksheet. So let me, sorry, I'm way more proficient on, I'm going to stop sharing and then switch over. I'm way more proficient at this on Zoom. And even there, I'm not very proficient, but so I want to pull up the worksheet and let's kind of talk through this a little bit. Can everybody see it? Drew, you're okay. I was about to say, Drew, you're the only person I can see right now. So really the purpose of this worksheet is sort of just to get you thinking about what your committee is going to do and how you're going to, how your work is going to fit into our goals and our focus areas. So I've listed the focus areas there for each one of you that I just talked about. And again, if you don't have the strategic plan right in front of you, you can pull it up on the website. We'll give our March hits, our analytics a little bit of a bump and everybody logs in to look at that. But the specific goals for each one of these focus areas are listed there. And so what I really want everybody to do is to spend the next few minutes really thinking about which of these focus areas does your committee's work fit in with? It can be one, it can be more than one. And then with your committee's work in mind, I want you to brainstorm 3 goals that you are going to focus on this year and identify which focus area each one of those goals supports. And you can, if you really and truly feel like your committee only fits within one of these areas, that's fine. Know that one of us may challenge you a little bit on that. But let's take just a few minutes. I don't remember how much time Drew gave me, 30 minutes. Okay, so we're fine on time. So let's take maybe like 5 minutes and I'll sort of watch. If you want to like maybe put a hand up or something whenever you're done and ready to move on, that would be helpful. But pull this up, take a few minutes to jot down some goals and the focus areas that you think that your goals fit into. It looks like people are still working. So I'm gonna assume you're working on this and not something else. So we'll take like another minute and then I'm gonna challenge some of you to share your thoughts with us. Okay, does anybody want to start us off? I'm not going to force everybody to share, but I think it would be helpful to hear from maybe 3 to 5 people. Drew, are you raising your hand first? Love it.
I will lead by example. Okay, so I actually looked at 2 different focus areas. I'll start with equity, access, and inclusion. I would like to reach out to all HBCUs and HSI leadership to share what SWACUHO is and how they can get involved. Just to give you an idea, we have 9 HBCUs in Texas, 1 in Oklahoma, and 4 in Arkansas. For Hispanic serving institutions, we have 64 in Texas, 1 in Arkansas, and 0 in Oklahoma. Second one would be find ways to incorporate leadership throughout the annual conference, such as the business meeting. Again, to kind of show the visible diversity that we have. And then the third one is possibly looking at adding a minority and friends social or some kind of event at the annual conference through the Diversity and Social Justice Committee, and what that might look like. And then I also looked at connections, and one of the first one is, and those that you know me know this might be a challenge, is being vocal in the regional presidents meetings, and share that information with the executive board, to know that as a region, we are small, but there are a lot of issues in other regions that we do not experience. We have our own issues, but they're different. And so hearing that, I think, is important. Transparency, putting the minutes of the executive board meetings on our website the week after we meet each month. And then I did this already, so I put it on there to get credit. But share, I'm a member of APA, which is the Association of Physical Plant Administrators. They actually have a webinar series on DEI that is going to start next week, and it's a 5-part series. And so I shared that link with a couple of individuals, including the Diversity and Social Justice Committee, to be able to see if there's any value from that may be tapping into other organizations. And hopefully some of our other committees can look at tapping into other associations or other networks that folks have to bring resources and material to SWACUHO. So that's what I've got, Maggie.
That's great. Felicia put a good suggestion for you in the chat about also reaching out to smaller religious affiliated institutions. So see, we're already generating ideas for each other. Collaboration. This is what it's about, y'all. Okay, who else wants to share? Jen, is your hand up to say you want to share or to say that you're finished?
To say that I want to share.
Get it. Let's go.
Okay. So we said that we also fit into all of the focus areas. I don't know if we were supposed to say that or not. As the communications committee. So our first goal is to create a diversity and features / posts to better represent our region. And so that kind of goes into being strategic and like if we're spotlighting people, making sure that we're representing everybody in our region and not just specific like people, leadership, one identity, right? Our second goal is having communication committee liaisons with other committees, and that goes into the development connections and pathways. Because we want to be able to represent everything that you all are doing. And so to do that, I think having those liaisons is going to be super helpful. And we have our first liaison this year with the corporate partnerships. So we're super excited to see how that goes. And then our last goal is to engage with 75% of followers interactions as SWACUHO per week. And that goes into the connections and equity, access, and inclusions. And so looking at from the SWACUHO accounts, if someone posts that we're going in as SWACUHO and responding. So for instance, like Tech is currently posting all of their award winners for recognition and tagging us. And so as a region, it's important for us to go back and like say congratulations to them, so that they're seeing that it's not just us posting and that's it, right? Like there's actually that connection, and we're having that engagement, because I think sometimes when we say engagement, we only engage one way, and that's like the region engaging with the content we're posting, and we're not engaging back to the region from social media.
Awesome. Well, it looks like Drew has a lot of time built in at the very end of this for some more collaboration. So I want to skip through the next little section of the worksheet, which asks you to kind of stretch. And if you didn't think that your work really hit all 4 areas of the strategic plan, I'm going to ask you to really dive deep into what those goals are and see if you can make a connection to each of the goals. But what I want to do is scroll down to the very bottom of the second page of the worksheet, which hopefully you all have. If I need to share it, I will. But I really think a big part of this, and to sort of, echo what some of Delton was saying, is really and truly thinking about how your committee can collaborate with other committees to do your work. Because just in hearing what Drew and Jen talked about, like immediately I thought of several connections where the work sort of crossed multiple committees. And so I want you to we've got 8 more minutes according to the agenda. So I want you to just take 3 minutes, okay, 2-3 minutes. And on the second page of that worksheet, I really want you to think about other committees that you could potentially collaborate with, and what you would specifically work on with that committee, in hopes that at the end of this, when we've got the colleague collaboration time, hopefully you can connect with some of the people that you thought about working with and figure out what you could specifically work on together. So it's 10:43. We're going to take until 10:46 for you to kind of jot down those ideas. And then I want to hear from a couple more of you what you thought about it. And then that's pretty much going to be taking us to our break period. Okay. Okay, anybody want to share your thoughts? And when you do, will you remind me what committee you're chairing? Because I sort of know, but also don't. Jen, I saw your hand and then Anthony's.
I'm gonna let Anthony go first, because my presentation might cover some of my ideas. I take it back, so.
Okay, then Anthony and then Felicia.
I'm Anthony. I'm on the Diversity and Social Justice Committee. I would love to collaborate with the Programming Committee and the Professional Development Committee in creating a diversity track at the annual conference where we encourage people to submit proposals for diversity-related presentations, and then we create a track similar to the New Professionals track where people can attend a certain number of these diversity programs and they can be recognized at the end of the conference for completing that. I think that would be a good opportunity to encourage attendance and submission for programs at the annual conference related to diversity, equity, inclusion, and social justice.
I love that. Felicia?
Felicia, Corporate Partnerships, formerly Exhibits and Displays. So a couple things. I think one, program committee, again, we did a program session on the exhibit hall experience and that, and it was really kind of focused at new professionals. I think we'd like to continue that. And it was really important because we had some of our corporate partners who were on the panel too, whom came from the housing profession. And so I think that was a really valuable program. It wasn't the most attended, but it was, I think, a nice intimate conversation. And we had about 6 or 8 people in there, as well as our panel. So I think continuing to offer that program each year to kind of that first session, that first morning, to kind of do that entry into the exhibit hall experience. Communications. Who knows? Maybe we've got another podcast in us. That was a lot of fun and really valuable in terms of the podcast that we did about that value of relationships. But also, I think one of the things we might be able to do is see if any of our exhibitors might even be able to do blog posts about what SWACUHO and attending that, and that the relationship with them, that professional development. And so I think that's definitely one thing. And basically one other thing, obviously, that we want to do is also for any of the committees that are doing any kind of events or educational opportunities, professional development, SHO, mid-level. In particular, those are the three off the top of my head, but others kind of working on how can we create a sponsorship package and being able to talk about the value of your events to promote to our corporate partners and hopefully seek some sponsorships to make them bigger and better. So
Great. I'll throw one out. I think next year we are going to have ample space at our conference venue to do maybe some different things. So I would love to see the Pro Devo committee and placement services connect and collaborate on maybe some kind of mock interview opportunity for new professionals. I think there may also be an opportunity for mid-level and SHO to also connect with placement and maybe offer some resume review for new professionals at the conference, because, you know, we know that we'll probably have people who are starting job searches, and it may give those of us who are going to be looking a preview of some of the great candidates we have across the region. So I think those are a couple of things that we haven't seen in a few years that are really easy lifts in terms of the effort that it would take to pull them off. So in the spirit of doing what I've asked all of you to do, there are my contributions to some collaborations. So yeah, so we're at our time. And like I said, Drew has built in a lot of time, but please just know that, you know, like Delton said, anybody who has been involved with SWACUHO is more than happy to help any of you if you're stuck for ideas. If you've got a really big idea and you're not sure how it could potentially be implemented, please don't hesitate to reach out. If there's something specific that you want to do at the conference next year that's never been done before, contact host. We will see if we can try to make that happen for you. Because, you know, we are here really, the host committee is here to make sure that all of the strategic plan is being supported. I would also just really encourage you to think outside of the box as well. COVID kind of forced us to do some outside of the conference engagement, and that really went over well. And I know some committees have continued to do that since then. So don't get kind of locked into the what are we going to do just at the conference mindset. Like, we've got a whole year between now and when the annual conference is happening. And so if some of your goals include engaging membership in ways, you know, virtual platforms or through some of the drive-ins and things like that we do, I think all of that is sometimes even more important work than the work that we're doing at the annual conference. So anyway, okay, I'm going to turn it back over to, I think we have a break, but I'm going to turn it back over to Drew. I appreciate everyone's engagement and everybody's participation. And yeah, I'm really excited to work with all of you over the coming year to make SWACUHO great, to help keep it great.
Thank you, Maggie. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ricky, also. Let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break, and we'll see everybody back at 11:02.